Great clap from Jordan. And we're back. Safeties Off Show, episode 15. The haters said we couldn't do it, but here we are 15 episodes later. Let's just go ahead and roll right into the ads.
Let's do it.
You got your ads ready?
I do have my ads
I'll
ready.
do Dirty Duck. Here we go. Dirty Duck Coffee. Years ago, a passion and legacy was created over common obsession for the wild pursuit of waterfowl. It evolved into a coffee and apparel brand called Dirty Duck. Our Dirty Duck stuff came in today. Some hoodies, some shirts, so we're going to be sporting those in the next episodes. I've replaced my coffee that I've been drinking for years now with Dirty Duck. No offense to Community Coffee, but, oh, yeah, show it off, man. Show off the shirt. Kaboom! New shirt. If you're watching on YouTube, no shirt.
Check it.
It's the easiest ad read of all time for me because the coffee's awesome. It really is. Use code KCO15 for 15% off your entire purchase.
And just like last week, you know why Tyler had to read that ad?
Because I'm the only person with coffee. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna film it and I'm gonna put it on Instagram. I'm gonna put on Instagram me giving you coffee. It's gonna happen.
Nobody believes you.
Oh, it's gonna happen. I'll do the next one. You want to do Trip Tech? I'll do Dino Climb.
No,
All
I
right.
want to do Dino Climb.
Oh, get after it. Dino Climb.
Dino Climb. Use code KCO15. That is O as in orange,
Oh, that's good.
not zero. KCO15 at checkout when you purchase their pre-workout. Because Tyler's a teacher. And you know what else he is? He's a coach. And when he hits that mid-afternoon slump,
I do.
you know what gets him spiked back up? What gets him fired up
That
100%
Bigfoot
of the time?
Yes.
Bigfoot Berry.
Bigfoot Berry.
It says it's a pre-workout for climbers. But it's more than that.
It's much more.
It's so much more. Yeah, he has the Bigfoot Berry. He says it's dang good. I need to get some of that, too, while I'm here.
Yes. Hey, and we're technically climbers right now. Climbing
We
up
are.
trees.
Yeah, I mean, me and Justin saddled up.
Yeah.
Big time. Need some Dino Climb.
That's right. Dino Climb, KCO15 to check out. Next, we have Trip Tech. We followed them forever. It's a 5-in-1 hunting multi-tool. Boom. Got one right here. And it works as a punch. Use it to unscrew choke tubes. Upland hunters can even use it to distinguish between mature juvenile birds. It's awesome. Everybody needs one on their lanyard. Go get you one today. It's Trip Tech, TRIPTIK. Trip Tech. Let's get to the episode, shall we?
Let's do it.
Bro, I almost caught that one.
You got that heater on full blast. You got all the windows down, and you're just
You're such a
All right, so today, Jordan and I are going to talk a little bit about nocturnal deer and how to combat that. Are there nocturnal deer?
Or that's the question. I mean, I think that's an ongoing thought. That's a prevailing thought amongst most hunters.
That's amongst all old-timer hunters. So, like,
Yeah.
those deer are nocturnal now, and you're only going to kill them in the rut.
Or bad hunters who want an excuse.
That's me. But I feel like that was a shot at me.
I didn't say anything.
I mean, I put out a bag of rice bran and a bag of corn on technically Saturday morning, a little after midnight when we got to our land. And the next night, there's like 10 deer just chawing down, eating it all up. They didn't come all day on Saturday, but they're there first thing at, when dark hits, Saturday night. So,
I mean, I think that's a common thing. You
Yeah.
know, that's why everybody puts the feeders on timers and yada, yada, yada.
but even then, so that's the first. So let's just go right into it. Way
Yeah.
to combat this. The way the most obvious one is your feeders. So it would be to go to on-time feeders and set it for 6 a.m. and then 4 p.m. or something like that. And then basically it's first come, first serve. So the deer, they eventually.
It's a dinner bill.
Yeah,
as soon as they hear
exactly.
the tink tink.
But what sucks about that is hogs also hear it. Coons also can figure it out. They climb up. There's
Coons are. I mean, as far as hogs go, like on our lease, I guess it's still my lease. So
yeah.
will be. We put 3-foot panels all the way around all of our feeders. So hogs haven't been a problem in years, but coons are bad,
Pros and cons.
real bad. There are. Which I mean, I've kind of gotten to where I don't love. Tyler just left me.
Sorry, I had
don't-
to get up for a second.
I don't love hunting over corn anyway.
Right.
Not that I'm some, giant great hunter, but I don't know. I like the challenge of hunting them natural.
Costs a little bit of money. $10 for a sack of corn right now.
That too.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah. So I mean, the feeders obviously. I don't know if you've seen this, Jordan, but they also have a feeder. It's Tectonic makes it. So if you guys could go check that out, that's a free ad on their part. It looks cool. I don't have one. I would love for them to send me one. I'll do a whole review video. So send it. But
what we say here,
Tectonic,
no free ads.
yeah, no free ads. So Tectonic has this thing. It looks like a log, and at daylight, you program it just like you would your normal feeder. At daylight, the sides of it open up. It's like wings on a Lamborghini. You know, Lamborghini doors, Lambo doors. All right, and it holds up all day long. It's like hydraulic deals on it. You know, holds the doors up, so deer could come in there and eat whatever. And then you set it for another time at dark, and they ease back shut, so they can only get to the feed during the day. That, when I first saw it, I was like, "That's dumb. Just get a feeder." But that I didn't even think about it. Like when you get a feeder, they don't have to come when it goes off.
No,
they could come later that night and just be sitting there on the ground.
it's true.
But with this, they've got to, if they want the corn, if they want the rice bran or whatever's in there, they've got to come during the day.
Well, there's something bigger. You said it looks like a log.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's huge. That's exactly what
Huge.
I was about to say about feeders. Is I'm gonna say this with a grain of salt because I have killed mature bucks over corn, but more often than not, your big mature bucks are not coming to feeders. Not during the day. Now, if you have corn spending the night, sure, but I mean during the day, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
You might see them come close, but they're walking, a 500-yard circle around that thing, winding it from every direction before they even think about coming in there. Well, by then you're going to get busted if you're sitting there.
Right.
That's why you only see pictures of mature bucks at your feeder, if ever, at night or when you're not there.
Yeah, that's a great point. So, I mean that's kind of just like hunting mature bucks.
Sure.
Like to my thing is like, you want to kill a doe and all these does. Like I've got 8 or 9 does that are coming out at night. Does are what Jeff Sturgis says a 2 sense animal.
Mm-hmm.
They need 2 senses to get spooked. Whether it be hear or sight or smell. Unlike a buck needs all 3. He's got he needs 1.
Right.
1, he's out of there. So it should be a little easier to kill the doe, but they're still there at night. So Jeff Sturgis, who I kind of watch on Whitetail Habitat Solutions. If you don't watch any of that stuff, it's great content. It's absolutely.
He knows more about deer, I would say, than just about anybody.
It's unreal. And when he says stuff, you're like, some stuff you just kind of got to trust.
Yeah.
But other things you're like, all right, that makes sense. And what makes the most sense to me is that these deer that are on your property at night are not nocturnal. They're only on your property at night.
Mm-hmm.
Your property is what they travel to in the dark. So they may, this is what I was kind of thinking about today. If I'm a deer and you put out a corn, a feeder in the middle of a little field or in the middle of your food plot, they're not the dumbest animal.
Mm-mm.
They're going to be like, all right, at dark, none of us have ever died before. Look around, Jimmy. Nobody's ever died at dark. And then also the cover, obviously, there's no light. They just feel more protected, so they're more apt to get out in the middle of these fields and actually feed.
Mm-hmm.
So like that deer may be coming at night because you just don't have it set up correctly.
Oh, well, that's Jeff's biggest thing.
Yeah.
Is when we think about deer management, we think about got to give them protein.
Right.
We got to plant food plots.
Water.
Nobody, and most people don't think about water either. I was going to bring that up in a minute, but nobody thinks about, we have to make bedding.
Right.
Or protect bedding. We have to, his big thing is 60% of your land, if you're hunting private, has to be sanctuary, and 40% is hunted.
Right.
Not just hunted, but like that 40% is the only 40% that you actually ever enter.
Right.
That 60% you never touch. Nobody does that. We don't do that on our property.
No, I wish we could. See, so now that you say that, I thought about making the center of our property the sanctuary, but that's where we camp.
Right.
So it's like we're not going to hunt it.
So they're being pressured constantly.
Yeah, but they're being pressured.
by
They hear
scent,
or
by
see
scent,
or
right.
Yeah, or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what Sturgis says is that you got to have a sanctuary. And I just thought I could just put it anywhere. But now you're right. It makes sense. Like, you shouldn't travel through it either.
No.
That's pressure.
And that's one of the biggest problems at our lease. You know, there's gas wells. They're checking those things every day. So, I mean, it's made it difficult. But in those situations where it's out of your control, you still have to do everything you can to make the areas that are not being accessed. You know, like the gas wells are here and here. Like they're only going to drive here and here.
Right.
So I have all this over here that I can
shape up to how I want it.
That I can shape it. You know, I can hinge cut trees. I can do all kinds of stuff to give them more secure areas to keep them there, and that way they're not going to the neighbor's property and finding it there.
That's too. So one way to combat it is if you're hunting over a big field, you know, you've got a big food plot, you've got an acre food plot, 2 acre food plot, whatever. You've got a shooting lane. Don't make it wide enough to drive 3 trucks across. Like if you got a shooting lane.
Mm-hmm.
If you do have a big plot or whatever that you're hunting and it's just how your land falls or whatever, put your corn or put your bait tucked away in a corner in the shade. That's what, am I right?
I mean,
Does that not make sense?
Never think about that, but yeah, that does make sense.
So put it in the corner in the shade to where they're not having to walk out there and, you know, they don't feel like they're in danger or whatever. They can just kind of ease off the shade, whatever. They feel like they're you know, they're kind of disguised or whatnot in the low light. That's where you set your stand at, rather than right in the middle. I mean, growing up, we had what's called the hayfield stand, and my dad killed a 150 class 10-point there. He came to a pipe feeder in the middle, but it was in the middle of the rut. He needed something to eat right then. He was chasing. He was like, I'm about to die. You know, that's why we killed him. So, but in order to kill other deer in all the seasons, you know, early season, mid-season rut, late season, whatever, I think if we'd have just like feeder placement, I feel like that would have helped us a ton. Because how many deer have you ever seen come out? Me, myself, this past weekend, deer comes out at 110, it comes out at 40, but she never came, neither one of the does never came up to my corn.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like they were leery, almost like a gab wall.
Talking about this past Saturday?
Yeah, this past Saturday.
So I'm going to, me and Justin saw the same thing on our hog hunt. I think there's a couple things there. It could very well be feeder placement. It could also just be right now there's so much good browse.
Yeah.
And acorns, you know, they prefer acorns for sure. They prefer over corn. Like they're getting zero nutrients out of corn. Bucks in particular right now, all they're thinking about is packing on weight because rut's coming and they're not going to eat. You know, does same thing. Winter's coming. They're all finding calories.
Yep.
And you know, in any form that they can get it. Corn's got nothing. It's candy.
It tastes good, I guess.
Yeah.
You eat corn before? Have you ever eaten corn? Like whitetail corn?
No.
Is that something we should do and then post?
I don't think you can. It's like rock.
Oh, you could do it. They could digest it. You can digest it. Are you scared?
I'm not scared.
You seem scared.
I'm
if you're scared, too.
I'm a little scared.
I know. You seem a little scared.
My parents spent a lot of money on these teeth.
Oh, it'll be all right. We'll like soak it in some water or something for a little bit. This might be the stupidest conversation we've ever had.
This is terrible. That's the beginning of moonshine is what you're talking about.
What?
Soaking corn in water and then distill
I
it.
didn't know that's what it was. That's how dumb. That's how great of a person I am. I didn't know that's how you made moonshine.
I mean, I've never made it. I don't know.
Shame on you.
Sounds right.
Doesn't sound like you did.
It's called corn liquor.
A lot of things are clicking off my head right now. All right, on to something else. So a way to combat the nocturnal deer, I put that in air quotes, in my pea brain, would be to hunt, like I said, like small lanes, or obviously you could, like what you're saying, hunt oaks. And Justin said the red oaks aren't making this year, and he's so right. I hate to say it.
White oaks aren't either.
Yeah, so
not that we've seen.
Yeah, so try to find some oaks that are making acorns, whether they be the tiny little ones or the huge ones, whatever. Try to get around that. Try to get in places that you may only have a 20-yard shot. If you can see for 50, 60 steps, so can the deer. So they don't feel as safe in that area. Try hunting. I would say traveling, like obviously it seems like stupid, but say it out loud, but where they're actually just traveling. Catch them going to the food source and to the bedding source.
I mean, that's hunting 101 for
Right.
sure. I mean, I don't say that like against you. I'm saying a lot of people don't think about that because we've talked about it before, but, you know, and I grew up this way too, so I'm not knocking it, but if you grow up hunting the same family farm or
Right.
lease or whatever, and we've got these 10 stands, we've got these 3 stands, or this is my stand, that's daddy's stand, and you get stuck in this routine of hunting becomes a lottery where you just sit there and wait. I mean, if you want to keep doing that, great. But if you're trying to find deer and kill deer
Yeah.
that aren't just happenstancing upon your spot, then you're gonna have to get in the mind of a deer and figure out what they're doing.
Right.
Especially in this early season stuff. They're hard to find right now.
Yeah. And so to get the nocturnal deer, that's what you got to do.
Yeah,
If you
because
think your deer-
they're not nocturnal, right? I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
they are on their feet during the day.
Right.
Every deer, everywhere,
feeds 5 times.
feeds 5 times a day.
Yeah.
They're going to.
5 times in 24 hours, and then that one. Like right now, if I refresh my phone, I've got deer there. I promise you. Like they're,
Probably so.
and because they're there every evening, they come around there like 9, 10 o'clock, and they just tear it up, roll out. And during the day, I've got the same deer coming. During the day, I've got these same. They're never there at night. So
they're
like
bedding close.
exactly. So they're bedding close to that. So then back to another thing to combat it, like what you're saying is have bedding area. Like if you've got a ton of pines, don't just go cutting trails through all of it.
Right.
Plant some other stuff. The name is slipping me right now, but it's a type of grass that you can actually plant that grows in the spring and whatnot. That may grow like 3, 4, 5 feet tall. Like that's what I'm going to try to do, and I'm going to make some YouTube videos on that. Like make some actual bedding areas, because Justin said on this podcast once before, and it makes a lot of sense. Is you want those deer there? They can go off and eat somewhere else. You want them in September. You want them there in hunting season.
Yeah.
Or if you want them there in hunting season, they've got to have a place to bed. They've got to be able to change that up. And so, like right now, I think these deer that I'm pulling off of other properties, they're bedding on other properties, and they're coming to eat. They found a food source here, but it's not convenient during the day because I don't have as much bedding. Am I making sense?
You're not bedding, or you don't have. I mean, they just don't feel secure
You're
enough
right.
during the day. Yeah.
Right. Is that making sense? Yeah.
No, it does for sure. And
Yeah.
it's different types of bedding for bucks and does too. I mean, all of us are trying to kill that big buck, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're meat hunters, we're doe
Right.
slayers too, but
Big time doe slayer.
don't get me wrong.
Not scared.
Come rut, if I've got meat in the freezer, I'm hunting horns. Granted, that's kind of a bad point because during rut they're going to be traveling a mile in any direction, but you've got to have buck bedding if you want bucks.
And
you
so
know?
I agree.
And that's not big grassy fields. I mean, they might, but they want strategic locations. I mean, they're almost military minded. They want to know, hey, nothing can come get me from this side, so I'm going to face this side, which is always the way that the wind is blowing in, so that I can smell anything coming from that way. Like it's very strategic places. That's why it's so easy and hard to find buck bedding.
Right.
Like when you find a bed and that fits all of this criteria, for a fact that's a buck bed. And if you don't have that on your property, you probably don't have bucks there or not sleeping there.
Yeah, and that's when which my grandpa's killed a ton of big deer, so like it's effective. And my uncles and all this stuff too, but they always say like during the rut they'll mess up. Well, I really just don't want to be a place that only kills deer in the rut.
Right.
Like I don't want to have to only hunt for 2 weeks straight or take a week off work to kill the big deer. I want to be able to kill the deer in October when it's just me, when it's just bow hunters out, when everybody, doesn't get their 270s out and just molly-whopping everything that runs around.
Right.
I want to be able to get first look at them. So how are you going to do that? It's not always just hunting over the corn pile, or maybe it is you just strategically place that corn pile. Like after my weekend sit, there's one sit, I can kind of see where they're going. And I saw 2 deer eating, but they weren't eating my corn, eating on acreage. So I've got to change something up. I got to figure something out. I had a perfect wind, everything in my favor, and
Time to go mobile.
yeah, I got to figure something out.
That's when you get out of that's when you get out of the sets, man.
Yeah, maybe I should have.
Go
but,
find them.
Yeah, I opened up this article from Jeff Sturgis on from Whitetail Habitat Solutions. And the first thing I read is establishing at least 60% of your land within contiguous true sanctuary acres, which means where deer never see you, hear you, or smell you.
Mm-hmm. They've got to have that.
it.
They got to have that safe space.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm such an idiot. Why didn't I think of that? I thought, I just won't hunt it. I'll just drive by it every morning.
Well,
So
that's
stupid.
so we on the same piece of property. it makes a weird shape. But right in the middle of it, there's kind of this pie piece
Yeah.
that was somebody else's, and we ended up getting a couple of us got access to hunt it, when we were allowed to. But that became the sanctuary. We had cameras in there, and there was tons of deer in there
Yeah.
all the time. Now last year there weren't for some reason, but the big bucks were always on that property because they knew there's
Nobody
no
comes
wells
over
there.
there,
There's
yeah.
nobody hunting there.
Just
They
hang out.
never come within this fence.
Right. Another thing in this article that I'm reading, you want to see into a deer's brain, but you really want to see into his stomach. Early season stomach.
Sounds like me.
Yeah. Early season stomach. Mid season during the rut, you want to see into his brain. Like you want to see where he's scraping, where the does are, this and that. But early season stomach. So it says if you lack both the cover and food to provide 2 daytime snacks and 1 afternoon dinner, you can expect the deer herd to live somewhere else that does. So if you can't give enough cover and enough food, your corn pile is probably not giving enough food for two continuous food supplies. So like,
Well, again, that's not a food source anyway.
Correct. That's right.
And a lot of people think that.
Right.
Well, I'm giving them corn. They're getting
Right.
they're getting nothing from that. They're
Right.
coming to that for dessert. They've been eating for hours before they got
so your
there.
food plot's more effective. Your food plot and then your trees,
Yeah.
obviously your oaks and stuff like
Right.
that. But I think it goes oaks, natural stuff like that. Then it goes food plot. Then it goes corn pile. Like corn pile is like the kill spot.
Right.
It's the added little flavor. Like, oh, I've already got them here, but I want them right here to take this shot.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm putting this right here. So you've got to find a little area, and then hopefully I'll get to put this on film or get to post this. But like my spot I was at Saturday was all these oaks that are dropping acorns, and I put a corn pile at 20. When the deer gets there, that's where I'm smoking them. Like all this other should get them here, should get them in the vicinity, but this is the kill spot. So
We do that with our food plots too.
like little kill plots.
Yeah, if we plant, because we've got these massive pipelines. I mean, we're not spending $10,000 to plant them all in these high grain food plots. But if we're planting the whole thing in wheat that year, then I will take a bag of the mixed seed. Where you've got the brassicas and the legumes and all that. And I'll put that around the bow stands specifically.
Just a little something different for them to come to.
Because that's where they're getting nutrients. They're not getting much out of the grasses and the grains, but they're going to get a ton out of that. Whatever it is, your rutabagas and your lettuces and
your brassica and your winter rye, your winter pea, stuff like that. Like I'm holding on to 5 pounds of winter rye and winter pea, just to make sure my stuff that I planted, the backwood attractions that I planted, is actually coming up. It's not coming up just fantastic, but it is coming up some. And I've had a couple bucks coming to it, but I've got a little bit of winter rye, winter pea packed in the old back pocket, just in case.
wait for a rain. Had rained in 2 weeks.
Yes.
On that note, that is a huge thing I think people miss too. I mean, and here it's not as big of an issue. It's
About water?
Water.
Yeah.
It's flat here. It rains all the time. Typically, nobody here thinks about water. Although right now we should be. I can tell you that from Saturday. But in other parts of the country, maybe you're missing it too. I mean,
Well, I think here too, a lot of the deer get their water source from the vegetation.
They are getting some from the vegetation, but they're gonna drink.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, they're a large animal. They're gonna drink water. So if you're not, granted, I mean, if your property has a creek, they could be taking a sip at any point.
Right.
But if you're on a big dry spot and you only have one little pond, chances are there's deer there a lot.
Which here in Louisiana is very unlikely.
Very unlikely.
Unless you're hunting like cow pasture.
But, we don't know where people are listening from.
Right.
They could have that. But I can tell you just from the place that me and Justin hunted opening day, I mean, I think it's 4,000 acres. And after we got done hunting, we went to this spot that was about 15 miles away, it felt like, that he wanted to scout. It was this, kind of convergence of all these creeks. Every creek that we passed, that we crossed getting there was dry. And we finally get to this spot that looks stupid wet on the map, and it's bone dry. And we found zero sign from where we hunted to that point, and that was almost 5 miles away.
Goodness.
We walked 4.5 miles to get to that spot and did not find a drop of water.
So there's food source but no water source.
Right. And found no deer. or no sign,
Yeah.
or one spot with sign, and it was wet. Ironically, not ironically. I mean that's the thing.
That's the truth. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not there. They will be. There's tons of stuff in there
Mm-hmm.
that they'll. I mean, tons of bedding, tons of food, but they're not going to be there if there's no water there.
It makes sense. I don't know the whole. We need to have a biologist on so bad. I need to hit that guy up.
We do.
We need a biologist on just to ask like how much water. I don't know any of that stuff. I mean, like,
Yeah, I don't either. I don't
You
know
know.
specifics.
but I do want to point out. I thought it was a great quote. You got to see inside of a deer's stomach right now and a deer's brain in November.
Mm-hmm.
Can we put that on a shirt or something? Is that one of my greatest quotes of all time?
Like a. Well, that wasn't your quote. Didn't you get that from?
No, that was my quote.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah, it was me.
Oh,
I mean, I got it from the synopsis of this.
right.
But I mean,
But you put it
my
together.
Pea brain.
Oh,
put that-
that's definitely a shirt.
It might be a tattoo.
Maybe like a deer stomach.
Yeah, yeah. It might be in a brain. It might be a tattoo.
Yeah.
Just think about it.
Weight of a deer's heart's through its stomach in October.
Yeah. October stomach, November brain. The rest of the year, who knows?
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Probably not. It's too cold. Well, that was a great conversation about that. Let's move on though, because I feel like we talked forever about it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the leaky wader, my favorite. You want me to go first?
Leaky wader. Are we not going to tell the people about our opening day hunts though?
Oh, sure. You want to give a little synopsis?
Go
Is
ahead.
it synopsis? Is that the right word?
I love that word.
Thank you. No, mine just very simply, I hunted a ground blind. I had to coach late at night on Friday night, or had to be at the game, and then had to go to where we actually hunt. I had to get my four-wheeler, go where we actually hunt. Got there at midnight. Then I wanted to put out my ground blind that Todd Wee sent. And it's actually a sweet ground blind. If you don't know, if you haven't seen it, Todd Wee makes this blind. You can see 270 degrees. You can see through the blind, which is pretty dang
Oh, that's
cool.
really cool.
So you don't have to have your window up. You know, let's say like you got bushes and stuff everywhere. You just have it up. You don't have to have it down. Excuse me. You can just see through the blind. You know he or she is coming, and then bam, you're ready. Yeah. So
I like the way the windows work too.
the windows were very I keep talking about it. I just need to do a review video and talk about it.
Yeah.
So that'll be coming soon. But anyway, so I got the blind set up around 1 a.m. Threw some corn and some rice bran out. Went back to the tent. Tried to sleep. I could not because Travis. If you've watched any of our other videos and you've seen Travis, he's never on here. Travis might be the worst snorer of all time.
I can totally see that.
Holy moly. To the point where it's not like frustrating, it's you're fighting mad. You're like,
should we try to get sponsored by like a CPAP company maybe?
I'll reach out for Travis. Like, reach out, all prayers to Travis. Like, something's going on. Like, it's not normal. I snore bad. He's yelling. He's yelling at me. Like,
He's
it's
snoring in all caps.
It's awful. I mean, it's probably why we didn't see many deer, is because he's snoring and they're just all running off all throughout the night. It's awful. So, but my sit was pretty boring, honestly. Like, not a ton of action. Saw a couple does at 110 yards and then one at 40 for about 2 seconds, walk off. Couldn't even hit record on the camera. But I think it's because I didn't have a ton of bait.
It's also because you didn't have a
Cameraman.
Didn't have a cameraman.
And you
Didn't have a partner.
traveled with your partner.
I did.
Y'all had
Made it happen.
you had a
Captain.
short sit.
Yeah. So, Justin calls me out for all kind of stuff. I'm calling him out. The dude sat. We worked hard to get to this spot. Okay,
Yeah.
like he scouted it out. He did all the preemptive work. More power to him. Proud of him. And we didn't even hunt the spot that he had marked. I don't think we walked like another half a
He was
mile.
saving
But
that.
we rode bikes in for like a mile
BMX or mountain?
mountain. I have not ridden a
Style.
bike since BMX was cool.
Yeah.
About 50 yards in, I was about to die. Literally. I said, what have we done? Anyway, a mile later, we finally get there. Then we walk another, I don't know, mile, half a mile, 3/4 of a mile to wherever we decided to stop. So like, there's a lot invested in this at this time, at this point, right?
You're sweating.
It was chilly,
Pretty
so I
chilly,
wasn't too sweaty, but also I was tired. Anyway, yeah, we sat for, let's see, it was daylight at 6:30-ish.
Yep.
We got down before 9 o'clock, and at 8:30 he was trying to get down. I was like, dude, let's at least sit till 9. He was like,
Dakota
okay,
mentality.
okay, we'll sit till 9. Yeah, 9 o'clock flight.
Yeah.
8:45 we were down. So
Just wasn't feeling good about the set.
Guess he didn't like the spot. I don't know. I was having a blast. That's my first time being camera guy on a hunt.
Camera guy's
and
fun.
Loved it.
Camera guy's fun.
I've never been that excited to see a woodpecker.
Yeah. And yeah, because your mindset's different than the hunter.
Yeah,
The
like
hunter's wanting the deer and getting on camera, and you're
I'm
like,
like,
I've got to feel
freaking
B-roll.
B-roll.
Yeah, I've got to get
Yes.
some different stuff. Yeah.
Like I spent probably 45 minutes trying to get this dang squirrel on camera and finally got him.
yeah.
And it was like my crowning achievement,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, got a 6 squirrel video.
It
man.
was
It's gonna be
epic.
nasty.
Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, the
So,
cameraman to hunter, we should talk about that in the podcast. We should get Hunter Johnson on and talk to him about that. How
get Wade-
different the aspects
Need
are.
to get Wade Britt on for that too.
Sure. I'm all about that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, be looking for that video, by the way. I mean, got some epic B-roll. But then we got down from there. Did not see a deer. Got down from there, went to that spot that I talked about. It was literally almost 5 miles away. Found nothing. And then
Found that they're at water somewhere else.
and then walked the same distance back and then
Yeah.
rode the bikes another mile back out. It was,
Eesh.
I'm sore. It was exhausting.
Thoughts
but-
and prayers.
You know, we did a ton of scouting. We
learned.
We learned a lot. I mean, it was mostly where not to go, but I mean, that's valuable.
Yeah.
When you're looking at a map that's covered in big woods, like you got to be able to X some stuff off. You know?
Yeah.
And we found one spot that had excellent sign, a couple things, and we found this one plant that they were just hammering on. Everywhere that we saw this little plant, it was nipped off. If there was 3 stalks of it in the middle of nothing with no sign, it was nipped off.
I wonder what it was.
It was he had some app that
Yeah.
said what it was, some Japanese kind of something. Japanese stilt grass.
Huh.
Never seen it before. Or I've seen it. It's just
just
like
don't
it
think to
sounds. It's a
ever
green.
check.
It's a
Yeah.
green shoot that looks almost like little bamboo, but
Right.
it's grass. But they were nipping it down to the studs.
Really?
Loved it.
So that's what you're scouting for next time is trying to find some.
Well, that's a food source that they like, and then we
Right.
found, in finding that and some other things, finding a stand of white oaks, we found scrapes, and I
Right.
mean there was one area that was worth going back to.
They're already scraping over there.
Mhm.
Young bucks they're trying to figure it out.
It was a pretty good site. I mean,
Really?
I don't think that was one time. They're probably hitting it continually.
Yeah.
The licking branch had been chewed. It had been hit so hard. The edge of it was all gnarled, and I got it on video. I don't know
Might
if
be a good spot.
it'll stay
You don't
in
ruin it.
post,
Don't
but
ruin it. Don't ruin it.
No.
We got to see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I'm excited about this weekend too. This Friday on our property at my one stand, I have 100% likelihood of seeing a deer is what HuntWise says.
ooh,
Now I will say HuntWise this past weekend was like spot on. It was like you're gonna see basically it was like a 45% at 9 a.m. Saw the deer.
there you go.
Now I understand like I saw the deer in my little bitty scope of the lane I was watching, but the deer movement that morning, like it's pretty impressive to get it correct.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And,
well, I mean, go back and if you haven't, go back and listen to the interview with the HuntWise guy.
Yes.
I was dumbfounded.
Yes.
Because I've known about HuntWise for years.
Right.
And I always thought that was snake oil. Like, okay,
Same.
they're going to tell me when the deer's coming
Right,
out.
yeah.
But my gosh, there's a lot of science that goes into that.
A lot of science, and it was pretty dang accurate.
I believe
like
it.
I really want to go this Friday because it's 100%.
After hearing how much time and research and effort and true science, like I don't
Correct.
mean science, I mean science,
Yeah.
has gone into this. I mean, I don't doubt that it's
Science and data.
that it's
There's
dead
tons
on.
Of data
Tons
that
of data
they're getting together.
from like tons of companies. I
Yeah.
mean, they're getting data from all over the place.
Yeah, and that blew my little pea brain too.
Yeah,
100%.
crazy.
100% fired up.
Were you fired
God
up?
Dang it. So let's move on to leaky waders.
Let's do it.
Our last thing to wrap up my leaky wader of the week. First off, a kid told me, I asked him what he was doing this weekend, and the kid said he's just going to go listen to some Spotify and watch Roku this weekend and over break. And that's my leaky wader, knowing that I can't just do that. That's my first leaky wader. Like, I can't just watch Roku.
I thought you were going to say it was
and-
that he said he was going to listen to anything but us on Spotify.
No. He just was
Oh.
going to do that all weekend. I was like, that's the sickest weekend I've ever heard of.
Tell him a great podcast he
Great-
should listen to on
I should have
Spotify.
done it. But my real leaky wader is that I've had my rangefinder set as measuring meters this whole time. I've had it set as measuring meters, and
Have you been sighting in with that?
yeah,
Bro, we're going to have to leave it now.
no, today I fixed it.
Did you fix the bow?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
I mean, you could have left it like the
I
deer.
could have just left it and done meters everywhere, but like
The
your
deer don't
steps are-
know.
the deer don't know exactly. But if like I go to your house and I want to
Be
shoot,
like, was that a British arrow?
yeah, and you're like, is
don't
this
know.
this is 20 yards, and I'm it's a little bit. I think meters a little bit further, barely, but it's
Little
barely
bit.
little bit. I mean, I've been shooting this whole time a little bit high.
I think a meter is 3.3 feet instead of 3 feet.
So
Yeah.
I swapped it a while back from meters to yards. Oh, that's weird. And I swapped it to yards. I didn't think about it. I started ranging stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm just shooting high. Ah, it's probably just me. Just kept shooting. This is a few days, and I'm like, you moron. You sighted it in to meters. And today I adjusted a couple things on my bow, and I'm back to dialed in at 20 yards. But
You're lucky you didn't see anything Saturday. Or was this after that?
well, I had it set. No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I screwed it up. I'd have shot it right in the freaking backstrap. Just
That would have been a leaky
Yeah.
waiter.
yeah, that'd have been terrible.
Jeez.
So I caught it. So I'm an experienced hunter. No big deal.
Good for you.
No,
That's impressive.
no.
Let's see. I had a couple that I wanted to go with. One of which, I can talk about it now. So, kudos to me for following through after laying it out there for the whole world that we were going to have a hog video
That's true.
before we
killed
even
one,
went.
yeah.
That was not a just wait for the content to come out. No, we had not gone yet. So that was a big leap of faith.
Yeah,
And we did it.
That's true.
Pulled it off. But
impressive.
here's where, even though it ended well, this is the leaky waiter part of that. So we went to, all that happened because the president of the lease that I'm always talking about said we could come kill some hogs. They're overrun with them.
a problem.
Always have been. So we go out there. We go to this stand that they're getting morning pictures of pigs because we can only hunt the morning. We sat, because I was the shooter that day, so we sat more than 45 minutes.
Right.
We sat for, I don't know, 4 hours probably? 3 hours? 4 hours? For pigs.
hogs,
For
yeah,
pigs,
this
no
is
less.
impressive.
Probably 3 hours.
Well, that content.
Oh,
look at that
on
work.
top of that, old boy had told me, I asked him specifically, there's 2 chairs in there, right? He's like, yeah, for sure. Not only is there not 2 chairs, there's not 1 chairs, there's no chairs. So we were on our knees for half of this until the sun finally came up. And then Justin opens the door to that. We're in a big box blind.
Yeah.
And he opens the door to get some kind of B-roll out there. And he's like, oh, hey, there's chairs down here. Somebody had thrown them out in the woods.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so we got the chairs.
Yeah.
And then, so like we're filming all that. We're seeing deer.
Right.
Really cool deer with like this double throat patch. Like, and we're filming hawks and like tons of jokes. Justin had to go poop so bad that he had to like caveman walk across the pipeline, and I'm like giving National Geographic,
Yes.
voice as he's going across. Like really good footage.
Yeah.
All right, we do all that.
Entertaining.
Entertaining. I mean, I'm doing this for the fans.
Correct.
That's all this is about. Then we leave there. We go to the other half of the lease because I've got multiple cameras out. And we stop at the first place for me to go get a camera. He's got a phone call. So I go in, get the camera, come back out, and he's sitting there dead silent. I was like, oh, it must have been a bad phone call. And I get in and I back the truck up. He's like, so, you know how you were worried that, I forgot, I was worried about something on the video. I was like, yeah. He was like, you don't have to worry about that anymore. I was like, wow. He said, I just deleted the whole thing.
Oh.
I said, what? Yeah. Well, in his defense, he showed me what happened. That camera's very complicated.
He told me about it too.
Super complicated.
Yeah.
It's the way they do it's stupid. But yeah, like 4 hours of not 4 hours of video, but 4 hours of sit.
Yeah.
And all the video leading up, deleted, gone, dead. Now, granted, then we go and we kill the pigs and we get the whole zombie pig thing.
Right.
If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Don't judge
Zombie
me.
hog.
That's the other part of my liquidator. But that would have been, it would have all been so much better.
Yeah.
Then we go actually find the pig, and then I look like I can't shoot.
But you had several deadly shots on there. Hogs are tough.
I had 7. I shot 8 times. I had 7 lethal hits on that pig.
Yeah.
I
Hogs
want
are
to say
tough.
that again.
Everybody says that.
This is not me BSing. We looked at the footage and compared that to the pig and counted the holes on the pig. We are not out here making unethical shots with weapons that aren't sighted in or non-hunting ammo.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I'm just joking.
There were, what was it? 4. There were 4 headshots, well-placed headshots.
It's unreal. And it's all
Like,
on
I'm not
YouTube.
talking about nose. I'm talking about dome.
How soon till they take that down?
4 headshots and 1 gut shot that was, if you watch the video, the pig's running away and quartered away. I put it right here, and
So
it came, right
all
where it
through
should
it.
be, right
Yeah.
here and all through the vitals. That one, and then 2 more heart shots, and the second one is the one that finally
They're the toughest
did
animal.
it. I've never seen
ever.
anything like that in my life.
Yeah. You
I
hear
feel
people
terrible.
talk about it all the time. Exactly. Like you just want to. I mean,
That's
you
not
kill
what I want to
and eat
do.
it.
I hate
Yeah.
hogs, but I'm not trying to make any animal suffer. That's why I
Right.
went to put it down.
Yeah,
Like when she was still
exactly, yeah.
breathing, I said, I
Yeah.
missed brain.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go finish this,
Right.
and
Yeah. It's not like you're sick, twisted Jeffrey Dahmer and just want to watch it.
I haven't watched that yet.
Don't.
I'm gonna have to.
Ugh. But
Anyway,
it was a great week. All in
It
all,
was-
a great
that was
week.
epic
Looking forward to
week.
next weekend.
Yep.
I hope everybody's getting out there. Got a little chilly. I'm excited about the weather change. It's just leaves are falling off trees. Man, it's fall, y'all.
fist fall,
It's fall,
y'all.
y'all.
Oh, where's my pumpkin spice?
So yeah, go watch Jordan versus Zombie Hog.
Jordan versus
on
zombie
YouTube.
hog or pig?
I changed it back to hog.
Hog.
I put it
Okay,
back to
Jordan
hog.
versus hog.
Yep.
Humby.
Yep.
Zombie pig.
Zombie pig, zombie hog. Go check it out. Make sure you subscribe, follow, do all of it. Check out our sponsors. Check out Dirty Duck Coffee. Just great stuff. Great folks. Go back and listen to Nathan from Huntwise.
Yes.
Honest to God, great guy and very informational. It was a great podcast.
That's
That was one of our best
We
ones.
always say that's one of our best interviews,
Yeah.
but that is one of our best interviews.
really is.
That guy was awesome.
For sure is. So enjoyed it, guys. We appreciate y'all listening and watching. Go to church.
Go to church.